And thank you everyone for tuning in tonight for some Junior Sunday League of Legends between Absolute Zero and Dingalings. Out of Group 4, I am Sun Praising, and alongside casting me today will be Wee Wizard.
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
I'm honestly really tired, but we push through. I mean, hopefully we get a bit more, get a few of these exciting games, get the adrenaline pumping, and then wake up. But it's introducing these two teams on the side of Absolute Zero. They'll be starting on the blue side in game one. We have Arctic in the top lane, Kindwin, the jungler, Lele in mid lane, Apple as ADC, and in the bot lane you have Made in China, like not like physically built, but like but anyway. And on the side of Dinglings on the side of Dinglings from top to bot, we have Bat, Moose, Mike, Relativistic, Creep Score, or is it Crepe Score? I'll go with Creep Score for now. Worcestershire and Recoding. And oh shoot, they've already gotten the Tricks and Mans underway, Wee Wizard.
Yep, and right off the bat, Absolute Zero starting off the Aurelia ban, really not a surprise. I mean, Crepe Score has been slaughtering on that Aurelia, so I definitely don't blame them. That champion is brutal, especially
and if we're talking
with the Rune King buffs.
Sorry, yeah. And also if we're talking about the mid lane matchups, Lele is a pretty big fan of control mages, actually Lux is more of an artillery mages, but big fan of Lux and Orianna, so that Aurelia would definitely not feel good into those two champions, and yeah, so it is understandable that we're seeing that there. And Trundle.
I was looking at Bat Moose Mike's history, and I was like, he's been playing some Trundle, and Trundle with the lethal tempo. Yeah. He smacks,
and last week in Absolute Zero's 2-0 win, 2-0 win over Omega Gaming, they played Trundle top in both games, so we just might see this as a recurring pick throughout the series.
And there's the Lee Sin. 5 KDA in ranked over 12 games. That is pretty impressive. You don't see that very often, so definitely looking forward to Relativistics Lee Sin. I was also considering maybe he goes the Kha'Zix, but that is more of a solo queue sort of 1v9 champ. Just picking the Shen just like that. What do you think about that?
Into globals too. But
it's just with the TP changes, you can't go wrong with Shen. I wouldn't think the Trundle matchup is fairly
go right there. I don't know if Wee Wizard's coming through. Might be some technical issues, but as it was, Zeri is locked in for the side of Absolute Zero, and this is actually the first week for Runeterra Academy that Zeri has been made available. She was disabled last week as she was only just released, so these teams may have a bit of time now to have played around with that champion. And at least according to solo queue, it looks like Apple's been a relatively big fan of Zeri, having played, I believe it was over 20 games in just the last week alone. So we can definitely perhaps see the Zeri tech, but that is a Vayne locked in for the side of Dinglings, and I would imagine that it would be to the ADC position for Worcestershire, but I mean, I'm doing the calculating in my head. What if you have the Trundle pillar and then you condemn onto the Trundle pillar for the okay, now that seems a bit crazy. I don't exactly know how the Vayne Zeri matchup works. I would imagine after level 2 with the with Vayne's 3-hit passive that it would be very favorable. But until then, we're actually seeing a few enchanter bans still, and also I don't know, we got a Wee Wizard, you there, buddy? Just checking back in, because no, okay. All right, so yeah, support role that's still open, and even though blah, blah. And even we back.
Bit of internet issues there, but we are back.
Unlucky. Well,
I mean,
have you been caught up with? Have you seen this draft so far? Just
It
are we caught up?
so I'm not sure what I it's interesting. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be Volibear jungle. Um, I mean, you do have the flexibility Trundle, but I mean, Volibear top is a little bit, I would say, out of season. He's just his stats are a little low, and top laners have gotten to the point where they're kind of just either abusing the items or they're not really in the meta. And Volibear is just not quite there yet, at least in my opinion. But the Vayne pickup is definitely going to be so good into this Trundle and Volibear.
Yeah, in my head, I was theory crafting with the Vayne. What if they send Vayne top, flex it top, and then you condemn into the Trundle pill? No, I mean it's
Oh,
unlikely.
I,
It's
I mean,
unlikely, but um,
it's it. I mean, even in team fights, right? It is a theoretical possibility. And it's just one of those things like Akshan and Trundle's Pillar, where there's just so many cool interactions you can have, or like
Yeah.
Ornn Dash, for example.
Or
But the Ari pickup also, it's so interesting after all these changes, right? Like Ari just got this recent rework. She's so interesting to watch now, just because she's been modified to 200 years standards. She has infinite dashes too. So it's wonderful.
Fun. It is like fun and
Quotes.
balanced change. Yeah, that is an
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. I haven't actually had the, I guess, disappointment to go up against an solo queue just yet. But rounding out this draft, we've seen Sona locked into the side of Absolute Zero, and Veigar as an answer to that Ari in the mid lane.
I mean, so right off the bat, right? When you look at these two team comps, you immediately see on the side of the Dingalings, you see this Vayne and the Veigar. So immediately you have to think like, okay, we got some, mid to late game power spikes happening. And I think Absolute Zero need to be a little scared of that, because when you're playing Trundle, Volibear, and like I would say like Ari / Zeri to an extent, you're really not playing to scale, right? You sort of peak in the early to mid game, and then once Vayne and Veigar start getting their tempo off, you kind of gotta you need to end the game really quickly, otherwise you're not playing to your strengths.
No, indeed not, and especially with how Veigar's is the Event Horizon is the name of the cage. Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while
What an
since
ability.
I've seen. It's been a while since I've seen Veigar play, so I'm just trying to run the memory. But yeah, I mean, I know the interaction with any sort of displacement and that Event Horizon. We're talking about combinations with Vayne and the Trundle.
Yeah, I mean that too. I mean Lee Sin kick would work as well.
They've definitely got a lot of setup around that. That stunt, it's usually not very easy to land, but but I mean, like I said, those displacements can definitely throw. It's something I would like to see. Just the combination, kind of like Senna Scion, where like you throw the W onto a minion and Scion knocks it back, and it's as a setup.
That was crazy.
That's the level of coordination that I'm a fan of. But
I've done that once as a Scion. I was playing Scion. It wasn't Senna. It was an Amumu Q, if you can believe it. He Q'd a minion. It was complete accident. He Q'd a minion right as I kicked it as Scion, and he flew.
Yeah,
he flew like a bird.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. But I mean, going back to the team comps, I wouldn't say it is like just game over at mid game for Absolute Zero, because they do have the Zeri. And I mean, we've all seen the highlight clips of Zeri, popping her ult and zooming around. She can pop off, right? There is a possibility if somehow the Vayne dies, for example. Zeri really has the capability to kite out Shen, Leona, and then all of a sudden the Dingalings kind of don't have anything to stick on her. Veigar Cage's not going to be very effective. Leona is pretty short ranged, easily kiteable if she's not already on top of you. So they have a win con with the Zeri, and of course Sona scales very, very well. I think she's probably the best scaling enchanter. Maybe Lulu is up there as well, but there is capabilities on both sides. But in a straight up, I would say 5v5, front to back fight, Dingalings are probably going to win it every single time.
Yeah, and I also believe with the Shoot, this is my brain's not very big. So I know there was an interaction with Zeri with
Oh, I think no. With
Black
the
Cleaver
Runons,
and
Runon's
Runans.
Hurricane. Yeah,
Yeah,
they never.
where it would fully stack Black Cleaver on 3 different targets. I believe that was changed, right?
I'm not sure if that was changed. There was a interaction with Runons where every bolt would give her a stack of moves when only the main attack was supposed to.
Ooh.
So she would be getting triple or 3 times the movement speed that she was supposed to be getting.
This is why I have a color caster because I've seen the changes, I've read them, but like at the same time it's like, oh shoot, man.
But that's why, you know, on release day you were seeing those Twitch clips where Zeri was literally crossing the map in like half a second. That's why. Because she would just be autoing like 5 times and all of a sudden she's faster than like Udyr with like Epoch. So it is when you're zooming around at like 700 movement speed, it doesn't matter how little damage you're doing because you can just keep doing it forever.
Zeri. Yeah, that was
because I think Zeri is relatively lower on the damage charts. I mean, especially compared to like Vayne, right? Who's doing you know, so much damage in 3 autos or less with you know, Rage Blade or things like that. But Zeri has the way to sustain it and stick on, and Vayne can do that too, but it's not quite as consistent, I guess, because you know, she's relying on her dash while Zeri just has the permanent movement speed to stick on you.
Yeah. And with that in mind, who do you think's taking game 1 just based off of what we're?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at these comps, I will side with the Dingalings, just because you have the scaling, you have the DPS, you have the tankiness from Leona and Shen. You have the Shen, whose ultimate. I mean, Shen Vayne is such a gross combo. Even Shen Veigar to a smaller extent, but Veigar isn't kind of like the 1v9 carry that Vayne can do. You have a Vayne with Leona, and you have the Stand United from Shen. Vayne should be unkillable. How does Absolute Zero kill the Vayne? They have, like, their only burst is like Ahri. So maybe if Ahri gets pretty fed, she could potentially, but even then, Vayne has Shield Bow. She has Shen Stand United. She should be able to survive any burst that Absolute Zero has to throw at her, and then she can just, you know, kite auto, and then all of a sudden, you know, Trundle's dying in like 5 auto attacks because it's Vayne. Volibear's dying in 5 more auto attacks because it's Vayne. And then, you know, Absolute Zero has no frontline. It's just Sona and Zeri in the background, who, you know, they have the kiting, but they can't kill the whole team, right? Most likely.
Yeah. And so with that, I believe we're going to send it to a break. We have now hit the spectator delay, and when we are back, we will be ready for game 1. Just to confirm, it is Absolute Zero against Dingalings in week 2 of Runeterra Academy's Junior Sunday. We'll see you then. we have loaded in for game 1 between
30
Absolute
seconds until
Zero and
minions
Dingalings, and get
spawn.
a slight, maybe a bush campingless death bush right here at the start of this game. But
They're trying to get some cheeky vision. They didn't actually. Oh no, they got a ward on the red buff.
they
Very,
did.
very nice. Love
They
to
did.
see it,
I
especially
believe
against Lee
that
Sin. It's very, very good.
was in fact Kind Wind's ward actually, and yeah, there's the recall, and he's gonna switch to that sweeper straight
Minions
away,
have
and you know
spawned.
that's pretty cool. I'm a fan. I rate it.
Yeah, I mean it's especially good against Lee Sin because Lee Sin wants to keep the ward, so he can't sweep it. You know, he can't back sweep and get a free gold XP lead from the ward. So now Episode Zero, they're gonna have a pretty solid understanding. Lee Sin's in top side, he's pathing bot, and their lanes can play accordingly.
Yeah.
Yep, and you know, right off the bat, we see jungler starting opposite side, so they're probably not gonna connect at the scuttle marking. But I mean, let's take a look back at what we were saying in Champs League, right? We were saying that the Dingalings they scale well, and that's pretty clear. I mean, they have Vayne, Veigar, two of the very, very strong scaling champions. Keep an eye on this Leona here in the bot lane. Maybe some cheeky action gonna happen, but that doesn't mean Absolute Zero automatically.
Yeah, or
loses.
maybe she's just going to get poked out with with a few abilities on Made in China, and you know, I like the idea, but maybe not the best of execution. But that trade in the top lane,
Trundle.
that Trundle top. Both of these top laners are Trundle top connoisseurs. We just might get a
Whoa.
Actually,
Wait, why does Sona get level 2 so early?
that is.
She must have
I would
gotten like
have,
an extra.
yeah, Apple must have
extra
missed
minion.
XP because Apple's.
That's bad. Yeah, look at
yeah. Apple's only level 1 in the Flash, and not the Flash, in the Zenith Blade, and will force Apple to flash out, and that is 2 summoner spells already used on the side of Absolute Zero's bot lane, and it's definitely gone well for the side of Dinglings in these first few minutes.
I mean, if you're the Leona, that's worth it, 100%. You will every time trade your flash for the ADC's flash. So now it's just up to see can the Lee Sin make a play, can he go down? Trundle already smacking away this turret. I wonder if they're gonna go for a dive. We do see Volibear up top on those Krugs, but he's probably just gonna go down to the Rift Herald. Sorry, not the Rift Herald, the Scuttle Crab. Mini Rift Herald.
Rift Herald Junior. You know.
Yeah.
I don't. Are the Scuttle Crabs and Rift Heralds like related?
They are.
Species-wise,
yeah. I don't remember the exact lore. I just remember that the Rift Herald is like some sort of mutant grown Scuttle Crab somehow. I don't. I don't remember the exact logic.
Void corrupted Scuttle. I mean, either way. We've got
It was Chemtech Dragon. It's all his fault.
True. Yeah. Kimtech Drag died for second Scuttle Crab or Scuttle Crab Rift Herald, but we've got relativistic here in the bot lane going for the gank Zeri without the flash. First blood onto this Lee Sin, and he'll just pop away. Very clean gank from the side of Dingalings to get that there. Like, yeah, I mean, even though Kind Wind was in the wings, just not nearly enough.
Yeah, and very great play. You know, you saw the Zeri had no flash. Relativistic realized it. He's pathing bot, and they were able to secure the first blood onto the Lee Sin, which is, I mean, in my opinion, that's where you need the gold to be right now because Vayne and Veigar, they're gonna scale, right? Whether they get that kill or not. Lee Sin is going to be falling off, but if you can give him some early power, he's gonna be extra strong in the early to mid game where he's supposed to be strong. You can get those dragons and path really nicely into the mid game, where Lee Sin usually starts to get a little bit weaker, which is pretty great. Leona.
Yeah. I rate it. Would you take Hex Flash? You gotta try it, you know.
You have to. I mean, it's pretty much a given. You gotta Hex Flash randomly out of bushes just to scare him.
Yeah. It's the unwritten rule of playing engage supports.
Psychological warfare, you know.
yeah. Especially on the likes of Alistar. Like.
Yeah.
You take that Hex Flash. You go, aha! Look, I jumped towards you. It did nothing, but
And
But
good
no,
lane.
yeah, go ahead.
Just farming it up. Veigar getting a pretty nice lead, up to a little bit 10 to 15 CS. A little, pretty respectable. But it's sort of offset by the top lane CS difference, right? The Trundle obviously going to be able to have pretty high lane priority, so he does have quite a big 25 CS lead, almost double, like the Shen has.
We actually might be getting a fight in around this dragon real soon, as Love's recording decides to go in with that Zenith Blade. Doesn't quite lock down the enemy, but Relativistic is here behind Maiden, China flashing away. Apple does not have the flash from earlier, still going low, and hold on for a moment. That was a bit, maybe a bit of miscommunication from the side of Dingalings. So even though they pick up one kill, they're currently down a kill in this fight. And with the Ahri moving down, Lele's here. The charm lands. That's another kill. It's another two. Lele, I believe, picking up the double kill. Not quite aware, not quite certain. No, it is exactly the double kill on to that Ahri. And really good answer from the side of Absolute Zero.
Yeah, and I want to say just in time, because Shen just hit level 6. So that was the window that Absolute Zero had to make a play happen. And now that Trundle has level 6, he's going to be a real menace against the Shen in the top lane. He's just going to hold this freeze. He doesn't care. And Shen is going to be in a really tough spot. He doesn't really have the wave clear to stop it. And I did want to mention that bot lane play, aside from the Shen, right? That is exactly what Absolute Zero needs to do. They have the lead. Ahri has the higher roam potential. A little bit less now that Veigar has the Predator boots, but that is pretty much their window to make stuff happen. And getting that early gold lead is what they need to stay relevant into this game, going into the mid game.
Yeah, and well, as you mentioned, that freeze is looking. It's
brutal. It's really brutal.
The frozen pillar just like the way, but we got to gank through this bot lane, kind of win. Try to lock down Love's recording, but managed to get away for now. But he goes low. Maiden China does have enough damage to get that kill onto the Sona.
Yeah, and that's most likely going to be Dragon. I'm curious what Lee Sin is looking for, if he's going to try and steal it, or just going to go back to farm his camps. I mean, that's the wise play, right?
That is the smart move, but at the same time, it's definitely the right play to just let it go. I would be very surprised if he starts heading to the dragon here.
That would be reportable.
Reporting in customs.
Yeah. All right, so Absolute Zero, they have a nice path to victory, right? They have this 2-0 Ahri, they have the 20 CS lead on this Trundle. Bot lane is a little shaky, but I mean, it's really not a big deal. It's only 2 deaths, and they have 2 kills too, so they're pretty much even. Overall, I really like Lee Sin going for the Rift Herald here. The camera never shows Rift Herald. I don't know why, but they are going for the Rift Herald. Very nice, cross-map play. Although it does look like Absolute Zero is, potentially rotating to that area. We do see Sona. Yeah.
I believe
if the camera would just move,
yeah, they did take the Herald. I was taking a look at the time. It was on the side. They did actually manage to claim that Rift Herald. Did you hear the Rift Herald death sound?
I think it's bugged in. I'm pretty sure I never hear it.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure the dragon makes a sound. So
who knows? Honestly, when it comes to League of Legends, it works when it feels like it.
So. You know what they say in Summoner's Rift, no one can hear you scream. So sorry, Shelly. And the freeze is everlasting. Poor Bad Moves Mike.
Yeah, this is starting to that CS difference is starting to look a bit
yeah. It is just the art of top lane, right? If you pick the Shen like that, you're asking for it, essentially.
Oh, hold on, Lele getting stunned here.
half HP, just like that.
It's definitely a very sizable chunk of damage from.
Oh, he just broke the freeze.
Ooh.
He autoed a little bit too much, I think. Yeah, that's the.
Either way, back to the mid lane. This things to mention. Veigar did take the Predator, as you were saying earlier, and I think that's how he got that nice chunk of damage from just his W in that exchange there. So using it kind of on cooldown, but
that doesn't matter for Predator. That's just.
I believe he used it, or maybe I don't know.
Oh, actually, my bad. It actually triggers on abilities. You learn something new every day. So that's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought it was just for the movement speed to cage someone, but you actually get the adaptive force, so it definitely adds up.
For the next damaging ability, yeah.
Yep, and let's do a quick stat check on the Veigar. He has 91 stacks of ability power. He's almost at 200 at 11 minutes into the game, so that's quite solid.
Yeah,
that's just the power of Veigar.
Meanwhile,
and wow, Volibear actually going pretty deep. I'm not sure. He's trying to make a dive, I think.
I would imagine,
which is very risky.
It's very risky, but at the same time, they know Lee Sin is on the top side of the map. Relativistic is out of here, and if they run away from this out here, and this done, I'm not quite sure how that would happen. That is a score. Great score. That amount of damage, but as the Stand United will come on to Lee Sin, keeping him alive for now. Get Quay comes through, but straight over to bot lane. That is the tower being completely canceled out. Arctic, however, flashing in on that gate to the top side, will get a trade kill in return. However, he doesn't know where Creep Score is. Creep Score should be able to get that kill, and that is another set of stacks going onto this Veigar, who's now 2-0. He's going to just walk away there, so no more. So across the map, I believe that was a 2-for-2. If I recall correctly, it might have been 3. Wait, Brain?
Wasn't it a?
Because you had the.
Did Volibear
die?
Did Volibear die?
No, it was Ari who did in the.
Oh right, she got solo killed.
Yeah, she got solo killed.
Okay, so it's 2-for-2. Yeah.
Okay, I am going. I am. My brain is.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track when there's like 3 different engages. But yeah, 2-for-2. I mean, overall, the gold is slightly in Absolute Zero's favor. This is hard. Just having 2 extra kills and a little bit of a CS gap in the top lane and jungle. But I mean, look at the CS gap in mid lane. It's like 40.
Yeah,
wow, this Veigar is CSing a storm.
Expand, and he has 2 kills. Gives him the extra.
Yeah,
gives him the
and the Dark Seal. Yeah.
So this crepe scores looking really. Actually, what do crepes? I've actually never had crepes, like the breakfast food crepes. Yeah, I actually haven't.
It's weird. I know it's like a pancake.
I'm aware of what it is. I'm just going to actually, before we get to that, breakfast foods aside, that is another kill going on to this Veigar crepe score, getting another as the rest of Dingalings are just going to have to run away from that dragon. And with that, it was the Mountain Drake getting picked up by Absolute Zero, and top lane Arctic just might look to go for this. He's taking Batmoose Mike down to about a 3rd health right there. He's still got his ultimate available. Could still subjugate, maybe. Might even look to take the tower here.
Is he just going for the turret? Yep, Shen's backing off. It's gone.
Looking like it. He's backing off, but Apple looking to start out this fight. And Love's recording.
Maybe she lagged a little bit. Because, I mean, Volibear showed on screen and she kept walking forward.
Walked over like 5 different wards. I'm not quite. Oh, never mind. Batmoose Mike will be able to get that teleport off. I was about to try, but at the same time, he doesn't have a tower, and straight over to the top lane. Worcestershire is going to be slowed up by Maiden China. Has to flash away. The crescendo isn't enough. Oh, there it is. Apple managed to barely get that kill. Worcestershire almost managing to get.
I thought that was troll, the Sona Flash, but she got with the tip. the
Of the
tip
auto
of
attack,
the
yeah.
crescendo. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, just barely there. But
Yeah.
yeah, good
I mean,
good
'cause I
trading.
saw the flash Q from Maiden Channa, and I was like, that's not enough to kill her. But then the crescendo came out. I was like, oh, there you go. There's the
Yeah,
finisher.
yeah.
So, so Vayne admittedly is a little bit behind. Right? Oh,
At this point, oh shoot, we're before you say that, we've
finally we
got
see Rift
four
Herald.
members of this. Yeah, we've got four members of the side of Absolute Zero moving up to this Rift Herald. And in response, Dingalings just might look to contest. I do believe they are down a member of their team and already behind gold. I don't know if this is recommended. Batmoose Mike will get caught out by that charm, and then he's gone down before this contest even happens, and that'll just move Dingalings straight away from that Runeterra.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to say. I'll say unfortunate positioning from the Shen. I've definitely been in that position where you're trying to collapse, but you end up just getting collapsed on by the rotation. Ooh,
God, all
good
the
flash.
flashes all over the place. I
Take
believe that was it was the hex
That was a
flash.
hex flash. Pretty sure.
They just might look to try to find an engage onto these three members outside of Dingalings because it's Shelly used, and yeah, we'll get that mid tier 1.
Yep. But Vayne should trade it for the bot lane tier 1, so it's not a complete loss. And really, the big tragedy is the Dinglings really don't have someone that can contest this Trundle in the side lane. I mean, Shen really just can't. It's not, I want to say practical, because once Shen doesn't have taunt, Trundle can just smack the turret. He pushes the wave and just hits the turret. And that's all he needs to do, and the Shen can't really stop him. Shen doesn't have the damage to reliably punish the Trundle from doing so, unless he goes. I guess if he goes Sunfire, maybe, but then you're going Sunfire. Shen really likes Frostfire, so at the end of the day, it's really just up to collapsing as a team, or just making the best you can elsewhere, and getting those objectives. That being said, we do have Cloud Dragon in a minute, so we'll see who gets the lead on the dragons.
Yeah,
There you go, I just swooped that cannon minion from Vayne.
oh, you really hate you did that. Feels bad as the ADC. It's like yes, McCannon, but right, Batmoose might, I believe, is subjugate.
It's so scary, just watching the Trundle play. I feel
Yeah,
scary
it's just
for the Shen. It's like a
wailing.
horror movie.
Where's Shinny? Yeah, I that doesn't quite work. I don't know. I honestly haven't watched a lot of horror films, so I can't quite pick that up. But straight over to the side, Grape score. Quite finding any of those abilities landing though. He's definitely chunking members of the side of Absolute Zero. So there's definitely a way that Dingalings can play around these fights with just how much damage Grape score is currently doing. Actually, he's stunning up in China. Won't have much else to continue on here. I mean, they're posturing. They look like they want to fight. Like both these teams. Shin has to stand united. I don't think that this is, a bit strange in all honesty. They just kind of stood around hoping to maybe find the ability to contest.
Like it's just a Cloud Dragon, and at the end of the day, if you're the Dingalings, you scale. Right?
Yeah,
we know the scale. So this is not good.
Yeah,
letting them take this turret for free was really bad.
This is what I was really pointing towards, because they just kind of, not necessarily that they didn't contest the dragon, it was more that they were looking to find a kill onto Arctic. Actually, here comes Crape score. The blast coat
that was clean.
That was very
pretty clean.
That being said, Arctic did have to flash away and didn't even get the red buff anyway, so.
But I mean, considering the alternative was death, I think that was very.
Fair. That is a valid point. That is a very the spam dance. Is it his dance that they spam to do that animation thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
He has a lot of good. You can spam his dance, his laugh. some other things. I don't remember what they're called, but I know his laugh is very good as well. It sort of like buckles back and forth it's like a seesaw kind of. Now let's take a look at the gold difference. It is pretty solidly in Absolute Zero's favor, about 4K at this point. Zeri's scaling, and she has 3 kills at this point, 300 gold bounty. She is, she's not even super ahead. I mean, she is a couple K gold ahead relative to the Vayne, so right. The reason is because she's sitting on gold. Yeah, she just bought her second item, the Runeterra Hurricane, so she is pretty solidly ahead. The only one in this game with 2 items, and that is going to be a big. It's going to come into play right in this next fight because you're going to have you have another item. You have your Trinity Force mythic passive that no one else has. But Veigar, he's looking for that Rabadon's Death Cap. Has the 2 rods. So once he gets that, he is going to be right. Like it's a huge spike for Veigar just because of his passive ability power.
Yeah, and well, all the while we've got a little bit of a kind of dull period. I mean, there's nothing quite on the map for now. So sometimes it just happens like that. However, Relativistic, knowing where Arctic is, just might try to find this pick. Killer comes up, not quite being able to land that there. Won't be able to follow up on the rest of that. So we go back to just kind of just looking around the map, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a good sign, right? When the teams aren't just randomly fighting with no objectives up, it is, it's a good sign from both teams because Dingalings recognize that they're behind, they're not forcing fights. And Absolute Zero is recognizing that fighting now really has no benefit because if you lose, you just throw your lead for no reason, and if you win, you can't really turn it anything. Yeah, Baron is up, but unless you have a really, really solid lead, as long as Lee Sin is back up, Lee Sin is notorious for having a very strong smite steal.
Yeah.
So we definitely need to be cautious in that regard.
Yeah, and especially from the red side, it's a lot easier for Lee Sin to get behind.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely one that you don't want to coin flip as on the side of Absolute Zero currently. So even with that, just look at the
most likely no action until the dragon coming up in 40 minutes or 40 seconds.
minutes.
Sorry.
Let's go, buddy.
Thank gosh, it's not 40 minutes.
I understand. It's fine. It happens. Sometimes you don't quite think straight and you say minutes instead of seconds.
Yeah,
What's the difference between minutes?
What is the difference?
Right.
And it's kind of interesting. The Dinklings really are not in any position to contest this, so most likely they are planning on giving this one too. They're going for this tier 1 turret. They may just go for Baron, and it's a very interesting play whenever that comes up because Absolute Zero were posturing heavily for Dragon. If you start Baron, don't have any vision. Look at the vision. All of Absolute Zero's vision is on the bottom right half of the map. So they're walking completely blind.
All over the place.
Ari's just dead. Ari's just like that.
Breaking up the first kill at the first part of this fight. Love's recording flashes in, trying to get Apple locked down. Stadium Knight will keep him alive for a bit longer. Going low is the Zeri, and that's Lee Sin picking up the shutdown. However, on the back end of this fight, Love's recording still alive finally. That is very good. Fortune getting up another kill. Kind Wind getting that kill onto support, but where else can he go? Has to flash away. Might live for now.
He
no.
hit it?
Oh,
No
just
way,
within range. And with that, I believe that was a 4 for 2 favor.
Yeah, and
of the
that is
side
that is just the clutchness of the I don't even know if there's a term for it, but just going for the Baron when the ahead team is posturing for Dragon, it allows you to pull something off like that because of the vision disparity. The Absolute Zero was forced to walk in blind, and just like that, Dingalings are able to bring back some of their gold deficit. They're able to get the dragon, and all of a sudden, you're right back into the game. Veigar has Death Cap, Vayne has Rage Blade, and just like that, your damage is online. You still have your CC tankiness from the Shen, the Leona. Um, the Stand United is still going to be standing united, and the Dinglings are coming online with their items.
Yeah, they really are, and I mean, Crepe's score, he's definitely not one you can't ignore. Sitting 4-1 and 2 on 207 CS
Yeah.
with that death cap in the inventory. He's got the purple.
I mean,
pack.
he just pressed R on this Ari. It is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I believe it was just QR as what. I mean, I guess you get the passive damage from Leona
and
then-
Everfrost.
and Everfrost.
But I mean,
yeah.
it's just that the fact that they can do that, it tilts so many fights in their favor that otherwise wouldn't
I
be.
mean, like this one, that's a snare coming through. He just
Is he
might
just
be able to
dead?
find
Oh my.
Arctic, has to flash
Wow.
away. And that in
Crazy.
the side lane, I mean, that is a Trundle without a flash, and really for what?
Yeah, and I mean, that's actually because Trundle has no MR at the moment. He has 50.
Yeah.
So Veigar is definitely going to be not caring about that at all. And especially once he gets probably
Hold on,
voice
love
staff.
recording. Just might be caught out here. Will drop the ultimate. Stand United will keep him alive for a bit longer. Shin's down here. They're looking like they want to go for the rest of this
Wow,
fight. Going
huge
completely
taunt.
in. Love's recording finally goes down despite that low health bar. But Worcestershire picks up the return kill, and Relative is going back in. Batman Smite gets it going main in China. Currently, it's looking like it's going to be Dingalings sweeping the side of Absolute Zero. I mean, you could really say they melted them.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but exactly what was happening that fight, Absolute Zero focused everything on killing the Leona, that Vayne was just standing there auto-attacking people. And that is exactly what you want if you're the Dingalings, because Leona is so tanky that Vayne is doing so much damage. Exactly, right? Like, you get baited into, you almost kill the Leona, Stand United comes down, and then you're so committed to killing the Leona, you just all in on it. And then Vayne comes in from the side, you're not focusing the Vayne, and she just pops off. She could have gotten a pentakill. It would have been close, but unfortunately, I think Shen took one of the kills. Or ulted the other one.
Yeah.
So,
I believe you're right with that.
I mean, Vayne has 3 items. Wit's End, it is. I don't want to say it's doomed, but it's really, really getting close to that point where the Dinglings just scale out of control. Veigar actually bought Anathema's chains. Where did he put that on?
The Theory, I'd imagine. I mean, I haven't seen who.
Yeah, it is on the Zeri. It is on the Zeri. I think that's a fair call. I mean, you could put it on any number of people, but Zeri works very well. I mean, they're all dealing lots of damage. Leona could be in trouble here. Slow a bit.
Again, getting half away, but there comes the rest of the Dingalings. Kindwin going low, stays alive for now, and now these cooldowns being used. Relativistic stays alive though through all that damage and the crescendo, and Worcestershire hasn't been touched at all. Worcestershire's just going after it, lands the stun, and I believe there's not much Lele can do to get out of this one.
That was actually a condemn into the Veigar cage.
It was a condemn into the Veigar cage, yeah. I believe it would have missed otherwise, just slightly off the edge of that.
And I think, I think we've reached the point of no return. I mean, Vayne, Shen finally being useful. He's taking the turret.
Well, actually, Batman Smite's been pretty good throughout this whole game.
No, I am just messing. He has great ultimates. You lose lane as Shen. You're supposed to. That's what your job is, right? You lose lane, but you don't lose lane hard enough that.
They're looking for a bit more. That is
Bye-bye.
half the health bar of the Sona, just like for good measure at the end of the game.
Wow.
And that is Dingalings, despite not having the cleanest start to the game. They played really well. They found what they needed when they needed it, and well, they take game 1.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the damage charts. Just a small prediction. Veigar is gonna be
He's going to
probably
be,
gonna be out
yeah,
there.
he's going to be,
I mean, yeah, just like
yeah.
that. Veigar, top of the charts. Vayne just behind. Um,
I haven't
I mean,
actually had my post game lobby open up yet, so I can't
we,
I can't quite see. You're going to have to carry this one a bit.
yeah, I mean, I just opened it. Veigar at the top, Vayne just
There
behind,
we
and
go.
then Zeri a little bit further behind, but still, pretty decent damage. Overall, I mean, I think that game played out pretty much exactly how we predicted it in Champ Select, right? Absolute Zero obviously having a little bit of an early edge. They did lose first blood due to good Leona play, obviously burning Flash into a Lee Sin gank. But they did regain tempo at Absolute Zero. They regained tempo. They had like 4 or 5k gold lead. They were getting dragons. They had good positioning. But it all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, sorry, when Veigar and Vayne scaled in the mid to late game, and it's just like that. It's like a
Mhm.
switch that flips, right? It's all of a sudden you're winning these fights, and then Vayne gets 2 items. You don't focus her, and your team just gets wiped. So we will see how the draft changes. I expect, um, Veigar ban, Lee Sin ban, maybe a Vayne ban. I really think it could have been avoided if they focused Vayne a little bit better, especially in that one fight when the Shen ulti was burned on Leona. That is like your time to kill the Vayne because Leona is too low to go back in. Shen doesn't have Stand United anymore. Vayne just has Shield Bow, but you have a lot of burst damage from Absolute Zero. They could have done it. Unfortunately, the positioning didn't quite work out. Vayne was in the side, and the focus wasn't there. But it is not the end of the world. There are more games to come. Hello?
Oh yeah, I thought that
Oh,
was the message to send it to
oh,
me. The way
my
the way
bad.
it concluded.
I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But yeah, we're going to a break. Sorry guys, a bit of a miscommunication from us, but it's okay. we are back for game 2 between Absolute Zero and Dingalings after what was a really exciting game 1. We wizard.
Yeah, you love the games where you don't really know what's gonna happen, right? The goal is kind of swinging back and forth. Dinglings get first blood, but then Absolute Zero brings it back with a strong mid game, and then ultimately it comes down to those critical fights near the end of the game where some small mistakes can just explode out of nowhere. And hopefully we get some nice action in game number 2. I'm curious how the picks and bans are going to change up in this game. Um,
We might
looking at
actually
sorry, yeah, go
have
ahead.
to wait on that a bit. There seems to be a little bit of technical issues with draft law. Oh wait, nope, there it goes. There it goes. We're in.
All
We're
right.
in. Yeah, now we'll be
Right.
able to.
Some draft issues, but we are getting back in. So far, bans are the same: Hale and Aurelia.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of expect to see Aurelia going to be banned away every time because I don't imagine that Absolute Zero would want want to play their
completely.
just champion is not feeling so great. But all the while, actually, wait, was Darius a new ban? I don't think.
No, he was banned.
It was banned last time.
Hale, Jinx, Darius first round. For Dingaling, we'll see the Jinx, possibly. Unless maybe they want to first pick it. I mean, Jinx is very, very solid, consistent ADC. It's just you don't know what ADC to pick. Just lock in Jinx. It's gonna work out just fine. They actually go for the Janna ban. It is very possible. It's usual for blue side to throw in a support ban in the first round just to prevent red side R1, R2 picking ADC support that work really well together. Something like, I don't know, Thresh Aphelios is a common one, or you go Janna. I actually don't know what goes well with. I think everything goes well with Janna at this point. But
currently
Janna Ezreal, who knows? Anyway,
there we go. That's Veigar. Take it away.
Look at that, 3 mid bans. The ultimate respect to Crepe in the mid lane. This is just crazy. You never see this most of the time. So I really agree. I mean, I agree with it. That's the thing. And there's the Jinx pick. It's like I was suspecting when you see them not ban something, it either means something worse was played, like the Veigar, or they are planning on picking it. This is Jinx.
Ooh. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
At first I was like, oh yeah, Caitlyn. She's one that's used quite often now. Lane bully, but Tristana. Okay, I like it. I like Tristana as a champion.
Yeah, I mean, just the. I don't know, what is it?
It's just fun to watch. It just jumps in, presses E, presses Q, jumps back out, gets a kill, simple. Jumps again. It's so simple, yet it's so satisfying to both like watch and play as. Like, great champion. 10 out of 10. Would recommend Tristana in your games. But either way, that is Shin coming back again for the. Actually, no, it's not coming back in for the side of Absolute Zero because Dinglings played it last time. Yeah, so actually a change of the Shin pick.
Absolute Zero was like, we liked your Shen. We're gonna take it. Thanks. So I mean, in the same spot too, R2. So it's very expected, right? Because as we were talking about last game, Shen can just completely lose lane, and he just has to press R. He has to build health, press R. That's it. 2 things. It's that simple. In worst case scenario, right? Best case scenario, Shen has a lot of decent matchups where he can win lane. Not in this case. It's against another Trundle.
Yeah, so, both these top laners are Trundle top connoisseurs. So
right,
I was honestly a bit surprised that it wasn't first picked from Dings because, like, just to take it away. But I mean, hey, they will get the Shin, so.
If you weren't scared of it last game, right? Not necessarily should be scared of it this game. But I always love when the top laners sort of swap champions. Because it's always a sort of like, the Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other.
Yeah, they're pointing. Yeah.
So it's like,
definitely.
Okay, now we roll reverse. Who's the better top laner? Because if you play the matchup from both sides, you get the feel of like, wow, it's actually kind of niche. Like Trundle, like he actually does win lane pretty much every time against the Shen, and Shen really does just have to ult somewhere else to get leads. And Trundle really just has to try and get turret plates and get those turrets in the side lane when Shen can't really match him. But we do see a change up in the jungle. Bye bye Volibear. Hello Jarvan the fourth.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more standard. I honestly, I really like. I think Jarvan's just one of those. I'm weird. I like Jarvan. I like playing
Yeah,
Jarvan.
no,
I like
I-
pressing E and the flag and drag. It feels good. It feels.
Completely agree. Simple is nice.
It's therapeutic. I might.
I
I
wish-
might just not be big brain. I might be just really dumb, and I like the haha flag
Yeah.
Q. But
I miss champions that were designed before 2015.
I miss champions that were designed before 2008 when.
yeah.
No, but
But I mean, regardless, I mean, we if you look at Kindowin's profile, they do play a lot of Jarvan. I mean, it's their most played this season. They have very good win rate, almost 60%. So they're good on Jarvan, and Jarvan, especially in a little bit of a more competitive scene, he's a really good playmaker. And it's kind of funny because I have a story of me playing Jinx and ARAM against a Jarvan. It is not fun. you show up on his screen, he presses R on you. If you don't have flash, you die.
Yeah.
It's like a flow chart, right? Jinx is on screen, Jarvan presses R, Jinx, then there's like a little arrow, has flash, survives, doesn't have flash, and that's it. Very simple.
It's so simple yet so beautiful and applicable
Exactly.
to this upcoming fight. Corky will be locked in for the side of Dingalings.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, I want to say Corky's another one of those champions that is just so interesting to watch because package is an ability that just completely warps the game when it's picked up, and it's just so interesting to see. Because when you play against the Corki, if you listen to player comps, it's always like, Corki package! And then everybody on the whole team is panicking, like, where is he going? Is he going top? Is he going bot? Is he just going mid, right? It's like, there's so much fear around the package because it's so powerful. And, especially if you go I think it's the AP build that's been pretty meta for the past couple months, you don't need to get into melee range, not melee, auto attack range, which is relatively short.
Quinn?
Shen support.
That's Shen
love
support. Yeah.
Or-
That's a change. Okay.
Or it could be Vex support Shen, but
Quinn?
probably not. I think it's just Shen, River Shen.
True.
Whenever you have a question, River Shen is the answer. Doesn't matter.
River Shen is my religion.
Oh,
And
if we don't
River
see
Shen
Exhaust
is a
Ignite, I'm probably just gonna. Just kidding. But River Shen is fun. It is whenever I'm feeling a little bored, I'll whip out some River Shen, and it's not bad, right? You have taunt, you have the auto attacks. It is very solid. Just taking a.
Yeah, taking a look at looks
little
like
bit of a break.
Bat Moose Mike is looking like nature's cold. So
Mini
with
break,
that,
yeah.
it'll take us a little bit longer to actually load into game 2. But when we do come back, we will be in game 2 between Absolute Zero and Dingalings. See you then. And we are back for game 2 between Absolute Zero and Dingalings. And well, Absolute Zero have come out with it's a draft, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Actually, kind of
Kai.
early on here, slowed up. Who's going to have
Oh,
to
the flea.
go away.
The
Yeah,
fear.
yeah.
That's pretty handy. Let's see Annie do that, huh?
True. I also believe that no, wait, no, never mind. I'm wrong. I thought I saw the
Minions have
what even did I think I
spawned.
see? I'm either way.
Uh,
I have no idea what I thought I saw, but clearly wasn't anything of value because here we are, and let's not.
Another ward onto the red side, red buff. Both teams have done it so far, so they're going to be going to their respective opposite sides, similar to the last game, although reversed. So blue team's going to be pathing down, red team's going to be pathing up. And, you know, just like that, the game is underway. Yay.
Yeah, well, it's been
Alright.
underway, but I get
Well, I meant like the
I-
official minions clashing in a heat
yeah,
of
yeah.
battle. I don't know. Take a look
Obviously,
at
everyone
the-
knows.
yeah.
That. No, I was about to say.
No, go
Obviously,
ahead.
everyone knows that that a game doesn't start until 120, right? Like,
Of course.
that's how that works, right? Like,
You guys don't AFK in base for a minute?
yeah. I mean, who actually no? But in all seriousness, I didn't even pick that.
Yeah,
So
well,
actually,
no,
never
no.
mind. Ooh, that's going to have to be the exhaust for me really soon. Already at level 1, made in China. Adding a nice chunk of damage. Counter loves recording. Oh, wait, level 2 just yet. They'll probably have to back off here.
I was going to talk a little bit about the team comps because unfortunately we got a little interrupted last time by some team. Someone had to go to the bathroom. I don't know.
Yeah,
Either way,
nature calls, but straight
nope,
away,
on
level
number
2, the level 2 power spike.
Wow.
That is a bunch of bursts coming out from Apple, and loves recording. Doesn't even have his exhaust, so Apple will actually flash away here. But I don't imagine Love's
gosh.
recording is going to be able to go
Okay.
much further as Made in China picks that.
right. So team compositions. Absolute Zero moving the Shen into the support role and counterpicking the Trundle with the Quinn is a really cool move. I was not expecting it. I don't think anyone was expecting it. We saw the Shen, we were like, Shen top, you know, fair play. Very solid pick. But the Swaparoo, Quinn is going to be able to bully the heck out of this Trundle instead of the usual other way around. And, you know, overall, it's pretty punishing for this Trundle pick. I mean, you can see the CS difference already. He does have a big wave to catch, but he's not going to be able to catch most of it for free. So, that being said, looking at the team comps, we have a very similar situation as last game, where the Dingalings have a very solid scaling team composition, right? They have the Jinx Lulu, which is, you know, standard by definition. That's like as standard as it gets. You also have the Corki, you have the Hecarim for engages, you have the Trundle for, you know, shredding resistances on the Shen or the Jarvan, and just, you know, smacking people, I guess. So overall, I mean, you're feeling very, very solid if you're Dingalings because you had a very similar game last time where you're just scaling, and you know, at the end of the day, that's all you kind of have to do. All from the side of Absolute Zero, they're playing a little bit more of a feisty game, right? They have, you know, the Quinn, the Tristana, and the Vex. They're playing a lot more burst-oriented game where they have to sort of immediately kill somebody, or they're just going to fall off pretty drastically in the damage department. As the fight goes on, the Jinx, Hecarim, and the Corki are really going to start out damaging the Tristana, Vex, and Quinn. So, that being said, we have a Jarvan gank in the bot lane. Or not.
I mean, he used his flag and drag to get over the
Yeah,
wall,
exactly.
so
So,
don't believe there's really much else he can do in that gank. It's looking like he's coming back around again. They'll spot him, but never mind. Okay. So Kainuan just chooses not to gank there, and maybe wisely so, because he was spotted, but at the same time, he was behind this bot lane of Dinklings. Ifs, ands, or buts, you can always say, but
yep.
Here now.
And we do see Hecarim stealing away the Darvin's Raptors, but Darvin says, I don't care, I'm just gonna do Dragon. Hecarim, unfortunately, the cards are not there for you. Sad. But the Quinn is. So.
Might look for this game. Oh, he's taking. Actually, he's looking to take the Krugs first. I mean, obviously, Jarvan.
I mean, they're not. I mean,
currently.
he doesn't know that, but we know they're not close.
Yeah, we well, actually, no, they took the dragon, so I'm sure he would know. But all the while, relativistic, finding quite a bit of damage on the Arc.
the Q.
Will go down just barely in time, and that's until going up to the top side of this map.
And Arctic Flash at the end too. That is the
Kinda
worst.
can't quite land the walk away here. Kind win.
No.
What?
No.
Crepes.
No.
No.
It's okay. We didn't see anything.
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
The camera cut away just in time.
Yeah,
Didn't cut away from anything. We don't know what you're talking about because we didn't see it.
We need some live
Okay.
video editing software, like give Trip Score a flash and like not have it grayed out at all. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Anyway, typically normal gank. Nobody died. No flashes were blown. Everything's fine. Now, take a quick look at the CS. As expected, Quinn, double CS. That's exactly what you expect. Hecarim has a lead. That's also what you would expect from a Hecarim. Mid lane, pretty even. Bot lane, Jinx is pretty even, but overall, the main difference is in the top, as we expected. And Hecarim, hit level 6. He's looking for a gank in the bot side. They are pretty gankable, and he does have the Onslaught of Shadows to make a little bit of fearful action.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
if
no.
he chooses to, but guess he won't.
It makes sense. I mean, Tristan is
Yeah.
level 6. Your bot lane isn't yet, so
Yeah, and
it
if
is a bit risky.
they rocket jump and the shadow
Mhm.
dash from
And
Yeah.
flashes are still up, so
yeah. Makes sense.
Overall, it's a little bit more of a farming game. And this sort of slower game does favor the Dingalings because they are, on the more scaly side. I mean, it is very slow. Gold's even 1 to 2. The sort of CS gaps in all the different lanes making up the additional kill that Absolute Zero got in that bot lane. So, definitely no leaders at the moment.
Definitely not quite just yet. However, we got a nice bit of a few auto attacks flying around in this spot.
Actually, Jarvan's on the Rift Herald. Of course, we don't see it because
Yes, because Rift
his
Herald's
darn
not
camera doesn't move at all.
It's
But
not an objective, like.
yeah, it doesn't exist.
Oh, here we go. Actually, hold on. Arctic might just be.
Oh, she kind of
Forward
grieved
comes
Jarvan just doing it so
doesn't have
sneakily.
flash. There it is. Arctic going low. Arctic going down. I'm not quite sure who managed to pick up that Herald, but it looks like it was stolen by the side of Relativistic, and they were able to pick up that Herald. So not only did they get a kill, they also picked up the Rift Herald. But in China, still trying to find a few auto attacks here. Worcestershire, it's a bit tentative. Made in China
is
at
going
any point
on?
one time. Is he going to?
That
I'm
was
not
just
quite
a
sure.
nightmare.
It looked like Made in China would look like he wanted to go back in. It looked like they were trying to turn that fight around, and well, there we go. They just might try it right here. One tower shot will take. Love's recording low. Will go down. Oh, Apple stays barely alive. Oh, sure.
Oh.
Ooh.
The flashes
mean,
are
Yeah,
a
not.
little
not
nuts.
Dingalings' flashes haven't exactly been the best. So far, his
Oh.
great score will just.
That was just in time.
He'll hop away. Yeah.
Alright.
All the while, I mean, interestingly enough, if you take a look at the kill score, even though it is slightly in favor of the side of Dingalings, of Absolute Zero. Wait, brain, word, flow?
Yeah.
No, absolute. Yeah,
Zero?
it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It's slightly in favor for Absolute Zero. Hold on. Sometimes your head just like
Yeah, yeah.
No, but yeah. Even though Absolute Zero does have a slight kill advantage, it is. I mean, they still are about 500 gold behind, as it is. Kind of obviously, it's
Yep.
going to fluctuate in and out as minions get taken kind of
Just
alive.
the creep score differential you see in jungle mid bot, it is pretty decent. I mean, it is about 20 CS in each lane, so it adds up. I mean, what I think the saying is like 15 CS is a kill, something like that. So that's like
Red team
three,
has slain the
almost
dragon.
4 kills in favor of the Dingalings, but 2 dragons over at Absolute Zero. Um, it's okay, right? I mean, it's not it's not game ending, obviously 2 dragons, but you do need to be a little bit careful not to fall too far behind because it is Ocean Soul, and that soul can be pretty devastating if you don't have, I mean, even with Grievous Wounds. Um, especially, right, the Dinglings are trying to take extended fights. They want this soul. They don't want Absolute Zero to have this soul because in the fights that they're trying to take, Ocean Soul really, really stacks up. Um, was that package?
Yeah, it was probably expiring.
Yeah,
I would think.
unfortunate.
Oh, okay. Well, got ourselves a must have had a bit of a mistake because usually with pauses, if we do catch up in
Right.
2 games,
Oh,
usually
I
it'll
hope it
just
didn't
run
glitch.
through.
That would be
But
unfortunate.
yeah, the Wee Wizard. So, how's your day? um, no, it's okay.
It's been slow. It's been slow, but
Understandable. All right.
it,
So, but with
but I mean,
Absolute
take a link
Zero,
look.
uh,
Take a link. I just said like take a link look. I was trying to say like
take a
ding.
ling a ling a look. That is, I mean, that works too. I quite like it.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so bot lane is not looking great for the Dingalings at the moment. They are somehow ahead in C. Not quite sure how, but they are 0-2, 0-2. So, and the Trista is 3-0, has the first mythic of the game, Gale Force. So she is a force to be reckoned with at the moment. And that's that's ideal for Trist, right? You're trying to get ahead as is Tristana, um, so you can snowball, right? Tristana is at its core a snowballing ADC. That's why she saw play in mid lane for the longest time. I think a little bit less now than before, but she at one point she was, the I would say the cheese mid laner. There's always one. I think it was Tryndamere, and then it was, I don't even remember at this point.
It was
who-
flavor of the month more towards
Yeah,
the end of last
exactly.
year. I think it's
So I
been
mean,
a hot minute since Tristana Mid's been played.
yeah, definitely been. I don't think she's necessarily bad in the mid lane. It's just that you know flavor of the month, right? She just happened to not be as powerful as like Tryndamere for the longest time. I remember Nemesis was playing a bunch of Tryndamere, and it sort of caught on. I don't know if he started it, but I just remember seeing him do it. I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna say I'm really grateful that died because Tryndamere mid was just abysmal. I mean, it's just that champ is no. I mean, it's just not fun to play against. But that being said, we're gonna take a quick break while this pause resolves, and we'll be right back.
I don't. And we are back through that break. Not entirely quite sure what happened between both teams. Either way, they said they were both ready, and well, we just might find ourselves a bit of a kill here. Made in China will pick up that kill onto Worcestershire, and yeah, that was the kill force used by the Tristanas. You were saying before we went to break, Tristana being the first mythic item. Having the first mythic item in this game, and well, worked out quite nicely for him there.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we'd also discovered a few interesting things in that break. Nguyen on the Jarvan has a serrated Dirk. Now, I have no idea what that's building into, and frankly, I'm a little scared to find out, but we will eventually.
My guess would maybe be Eclipse, that or
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many options, right?
Yeah.
It's probably not gonna be like I don't even know.
Duskblade.
Yeah,
Duskblade
Duskblade,
like Assassin
No.
Jarvan. Press R, get the kill, go invisible, run back at. No, that sounds terrible. I mean,
yeah.
you get the armor shred plus the lethality. It's OP, man.
Buddy. Anyway, but it's just interesting that I mean they're going full on assassin because Jarvan was pretty much the only half tank build that they had. If you went like Lordfinger, Snare Axe, something like that, he would be pretty tanky. Like obviously not an Ornn, but relatively tanky as tanks, you know, bruisers can be, I guess, is the thing. So that being said, Jarvan looking for a
play around their vision. It could be quite nice. I mean, Quinn can fly at like what Mach 7 speeds, as well as Vex coming in from off the map into Stand United. So I think that might be the angle they're looking for. Maybe. It would require a lot of very organized vision play from the side of Absolute Zero, but
right.
It's definitely possible.
Yep. And we do see some other mythics coming out across the board. We see Hecarim with the Turbo Chem tank. He's going to be a very speedy horsey. And he is building into Manamune, which is, you know, I guess the meta build for Hecarim at the moment. It's very interesting that, you know, he goes fast with Turbo Chem tank, he gets tankiness from Turbo Chem tank, and then he just deals so much damage with Manamune. Because it procs on his Q, which has such a low cooldown, that he can really dish out the damage with his auto attacks. And even though he doesn't have like Sheen anymore that he would get from like Divine Sunderer, he still has very decent damage out.
Yeah, and while we're going through that, it's also whew.
He just one-shots the back lane.
Yeah, that also did quite a bit of damage to Lele. But no, I was going to say, Absolute Zero, they also have 4 Ignites on their team. Now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not 4 Ignites? No, just trust me right there. I can count. No.
It's all good.
But Absolute Zero, I mean, they're using Absolute Zero, and they've picked up.
They have Ignites, they're ready to rock, and they're going for the third leg of the game.
I'm just thinking that they're not following their namesake with that selection, but sure.
Exactly. Oh, fair point. The opposite.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, I think the interesting thing is them giving up these dragons for free. I mean, yes, you get Rift Herald, but at this stage of the game, Rift Herald
TV's
versus
gonna try to find the jump onto Worcestershire. That should be the kill. Yep, Stand United coming through will keep him alive along with that heal, and. Probably
that's
a
actually
bit more
pretty...
than they would have liked to have used there, but either way, they will get the kill and the dragon in this bottom half of the map. So,
really, I mean, it's a pretty niche interaction that Tristana can't actually jump over things necessarily. Like the trap, it still captures her, as you saw there, and almost led to her doom.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's one of those weird things where, especially for new players, I know for myself when I first started playing, I was like, wait, what the heck? Why can't
it's not necessarily intuitive.
Yeah, it's like what the heck? Tristana can jump over the wall but can't jump over a little piece of metal on the ground. What? But
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's what happens when you have a 2D game that's
Yeah.
also has 3D models. I don't even. I still don't understand why altitude is a thing in this game.
Right, that is the weirdest thing. Like,
It
I
makes
think
so.
Jim W is the most like
It's
obvious.
the
'Cause
most
you see the
egregious.
line,
Yes.
and it just hits you like a mile away. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Try it. Anyway,
Like,
Tristan is chomping these towers. It's wow.
Blue team's turret has been
I mean, these towers don't
destroyed.
stand a chance.
yep,
She just killed like 3 turrets in like a minute. What
I
a
would say
monster.
probably about 2, but either way,
Maybe,
the
yeah.
point still stands.
Bit-
Where
bit
Worcestershire,
of exaggeration,
Worcestershire
but,
might just be dead here.
jinx.
Yeah, that is
Bye-bye.
one dead jinx.
I don't think you need to. You didn't need to
it-
ignite, but it works.
It works, yeah. I mean,
It's
I
just for
guess
the
might
extra
as well.
BM, I guess.
Who knows? But hold on, Crepe Score trying to find, and then like no, that will just be Lele flashing away. That
Oh,
being
that's
said,
actually
Flash
really-
Force package is a big.
I feel like the packages are really off-timed. I don't know what happened, but look, the dragon Soul is going to be coming up in 3 minutes. Corky's not going to have package. This seems like a really big misstep from Grape Score here. I don't know if I'm overreacting. What do you think?
No, it's definitely understandable. It would be wise for him to have kept his package available for such a big objective.
Yeah.
But
Especially
I mean-
if they're like right now, there's really no play you can make with a package necessarily. He literally just ended up using it mid on a wave. Like, yeah, you got Vex Flash, but Vex Flash isn't that big of a deal to begin with.
Those recordings taking actually a fairly decent chunk of damage, but no. But yeah, I don't imagine the package will be available, and with that.
No, it doesn't. It has a
mind-
5-minute cooldown, and he used it when
Yeah.
there's like 3.5 minutes left. So it's a ways out. And I mean, I think, in my opinion, that is a very huge blunder. Absolute Zero have a surefire way to, like, they already have a pretty good lead, but we were talking about, the Dingalings having pretty good scaling, even though they are very ahead at the moment. It happened last games very similarly, right? But Absolute Zero can, nail in sort of their. I mean, if they can nail in this Dragon Soul, they really just solve a weakness that they have against the Dingalings comp, where in extended fights they just have this built-in sustain and mana regeneration that you wouldn't otherwise have. So I think it's definitely a thing that you want if you're the Absolute Zero, and something you absolutely do not want to give away if you're the Dingalings. So, but we'll see. A minute, 20 seconds. We do see the vision, battle back and forth. Really starting to find the dragon.
Ultivistic might just be cut out here because Arctic's got the speed. That's quite a bit of damage coming through, though. Getting tiny damage onto that. Hecarim won't be a lot. However, Bat and Moose Mike does finally go down.
Wow, the
Arctic not
cookie
quite
damage.
finding. Yeah, the
I mean, it
Oh,
wasn't.
whoa! Out of
From
nowhere,
downtown?
the Super Mega Death Rocket. Yeah, Worcestershire. I mean, I didn't
mean, yeah.
quite see that one cast.
Damage
but
just
yeah,
came in
they'll
clutch.
trade it back. They'll trade it back. You love to see it. So 1-for-1 with Dragon coming up in just under a minute. Got potential for a I mean, it's not over yet. Stand United was used. Never mind.
Yeah, I think it was. I didn't see on who, but it was used at some point.
Yeah, I was about to say that it does have it available, so it should be ready to go again once it respawn. Once
Yep.
the dragon spawn. But I guess I'm wrong. And actually, Apple TV is running.
Oh. Oh. I was wondering if that could knock her out of the air or something.
It can.
Okay, it
but,
must have been just off center.
I actually believe it did knock Tristan out of the
Oh,
air.
I mean, it's
Already
it. Oh
behind
shit!
it. And, oh, hold on.
What are you doing?
Made in China
What the-
is where does he go? What can he do? His team's nowhere to be found around him. However, on the backside of this fight, Arctic's already gone down to about half health, and so with this dragon coming up, it is the Dingalings with the better positioning and the healthier health bars.
Yeah,
The more full.
I mean
health
that was
bars.
just made it China.
Yeah.
Just just blast
I-
putting over the wall. I mean, that's just hilarious.
I respect it, you know.
No,
like,
no, I respect it. I definitely respect it. It's just
it
the
wasn't-
vision. It's just fun. It's just
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the right play, but you know, I respect it. I respect it.
yeah. And I want to say it's a wise decision from. I don't know, because they're on a clock, right? I mean, Corky, 2 items. He's working on his, oh, what's it called? Echo? Luden's Tempest. There it is.
Yeah, it's no longer
Luden's Tempest. He's
Echo.
working on his Luden's Tempest. He's already doing so much damage, and he's almost like that's a huge spike for him. I mean, he has a 200 gold bounty. He's 000. Just because he's almost 100 CS ahead of Lyle at this point, and I think he is like the only reason their team is like so close in the gold lead at this point. Because besides that, it's like, yeah, you have 20 CS lead from Jing, you know, 4 kills on the other side, and then, you know, obviously Trundle is down 30, so, I mean, about 30, so it's a bit shaky, but at the end of the day,
Moose Mike taking a nice
Oh,
first rub. Arctic though, the Stand United
Stand
was
United.
used. I don't know how necessary that was. And
It's
that'll be
fine.
another
He got the
2
pink
minutes
ward.
for the backup. True. 2 minutes for 2 pink
Worth
wards?
2
Wait,
pink
big,
wards.
Big word. Big
He's
massive.
going for the third one. He's going for the
Wait,
third one in
what?
Riverbush.
Yeah, he's got his
Has to.
Jonathan's. Watch this. Third?
There
3
you
pink
go.
wards. Yeah, never mind. That's a massive.
If
dub.
that's not worth it for Stand United, I don't know what.
It's over. It's actually just absolute zero winning this one now. Like there's literally nothing. But either way, we actually just might
vision.
have a fight here. Kainwen getting a little bit dangerous this position. Gone down to about half health though, still alive. Could
Ooh.
make a death rocket. Getting
Oh, the
close to
package.
finding his target, and yeah,
Oh,
he
he
does have the
wants it.
package. Will jump through.
Wow. Dude,
Yes,
that
no
was
damage.
beautiful Gale Force, beautiful flash from Lele. Just like that. 2 ultimates down, or sorry, not that's not Corky's ult. I think it would be. That's just his passive. Anyway, 2 big abilities down for the price of.
Hold on,
Oh,
Arctic.
but you're dead.
Yeah, not sure what he. I mean, expect to do there, and
I
kind of
mean-
went has to jump away here. Flag and drag out. Relativistic are down to about half health, but that's going to be switch over to the middle of this fight as that's Batmoose Smite going low. Apple TV picking up that first kill, and they'll have the rocket jump reset, so might just look to find a way back in, but Worcestershire does really well. Second tower shot. It's not.
No, it re-aggroed on the minion just barely.
Just barely. But
I mean, I
Dingalings.
think the tides are turning. I mean, Corky's gonna back. He's gonna finish his Ludens.
James is picking up
Ekram
his-
finished his Manamune.
Wait, Tristana Collector?
Yeah, yeah. It seems troll. I mean, when you could have gone like DD, like the Jinx did, Phantom Dancer. Like, what do you get from Collector? Like, it's
I guess
it's not
maybe-
like they're not even armor stacking. Like the targets you're trying to kill. Like you Tristana, you're not necessarily trying to kill like the Trundle. That's the job of, well, no one, I guess, because your team comp is a little weird, but
maybe looking for the execute and like jump onto Corky or Tristana, get a quick kill.
yeah.
Maybe even then, like Collector.
Yeah, but okay. Dragon in a minute. This is Absolute Zero's time. After this dragon, 5 more minutes given to the Linglings. I think it's just gonna be too much. And you know, once again, Corky, no package.
Ooh.
This is, I mean, he's doing a lot of damage, but like he doesn't have package. That's the big thing. So if you're gonna do something, you need to do it now for this dragon. 30 seconds. Can they get in position? Can they get the vision? Can they get the pick that they need, the one shot, to secure this dragon? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the teleports, I mean, even
Corky
though-
actually went for QSS, so keep an eye on that.
Ooh,
Instead of finishing his Luden's Tempest. I think that's a fun idea. What do you die to? You die to Vex or Shen.
I suppose so. That's
Wow.
landing Apple TV getting low. That means that the United has been burned, keeping that just on alive for a bit longer. The Cataclysm does come through. Billy's being thrown. Everybody's health bars have gone very low. And there it is. The Dingalings doing really well to come back into this match. And they take a 4-for-1 in their own favor.
Yep. And I mean, oh yeah, so that ended up being an eclipse for the Jarvan. I really don't like it, to be honest. I don't really like it.
Eclipse into
Randuin's, like what? It's so strange. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. And then, I mean, I guess Tristana has the Infinity Edge, but like, I feel like the Collector, as you said, the Collector really just seems not good. They're gonna get this Baron. Corki's gonna have package very soon, about a minute from now. So they are. I mean, Duelings are in a very, very good spot. They are able to. Well, it looks like he needs just a little bit more gold to finish his item, but they're pretty much skilled, right? When you're getting to the 3-item point, that is when the 2 to 3 item point is once the scaling starts to come online. We're already seeing the Corki damage. He just finished his Ludens. It only gets worse from here. There's no MR being built by the enemy team. He is just going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, he's pretty much just going to be able to throw out rockets left, right, and center absolutely freely. And it's going to hurt, and actually Arctic might be in a bit of trouble himself here. He is feared, fleeing away. Arctic trying his best, but I mean, at this point,
not even close.
Quinn doesn't scale all that amazingly, and well, that's a demonstration of that right there.
Yeah, I mean, especially against Hector and Pook, it's just so bruisery, tanky.
Wow.
Jarvan coming in from the side, looking for a play.
He's trying to, but I mean, Apple's already out of damage, and kind of went already dead. I mean, there's an attempt, but like it was just so it was all over the place, and there was just no chance for the side of Absolute Zero to really pick up anything there. And yeah, it's the ace.
Yep. I mean, Trundle wasn't even there. He was top lane.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like that, I think that's going to be easy. They have Baron, they have Corki's a little bit BMing. He's going to pick up his package with TP.
What's your actually got very low from that?
I think they can add. I mean, they have.
Probably can, but I mean, at the very least, they're going to be taking.
Jinx is low.
All the path for them. That being said, these are going to come back up on the side.
I guess they know.
Absolute Zero. So if they stay a little bit too long, they might just be caught out here. It's not.
They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, now they're fine. Yeah, at this point, I would say that. But there was still that little bit. I've seen so many teams at every level get this close to winning, and don't really.
Right. I mean, the throw is technically possible. And if their team comp was different, I would say that Absolute Zero, they have the capability to do it. They would have the capability of doing it, but they just don't. In my opinion, right now they don't. They're I don't even know. Like, it's both the comp and the sort of builds within the comp. Like, you have 2 collectors, but you can't reliably collect anyone. Just because like Lulu exists, you have 2 tanks on the enemy team. Collector is just so low value. And I don't know. I mean, they had the 3-dragon lead. They threw 2 dragons in a row. They sort of gave up one of them.
He's not quite sure what he can really do to get out of this one. He's been polymorphed, jumping away. There he is. I don't know what you can do. Worcestershire picking up that kill, and though Arctic trying to turn this one around. His team is close in tow. 3 for currently. Arctic does go down though, and wow, look at that damage. I mean, Worcestershire does get killed, does get the shutdown onto the Tristana, but what will it matter? The rest of your team is dead. Triple kill for this Corki, and that will be game, set, and match for Dingalings.
Yep.
On that note.
Yep, I mean, at the end of the day, the Dingalings, they just had, just a little bit better team comps. They had the scaling. They played well enough in the early game. Kondo played that lane very, very well. I mean, Bat Moose, Mike, both games, he's been in losing matchups, and he's played it very, very well. he doesn't fall behind. He only had 2 deaths that game, and I don't think any of them happened in lane.
He's a
So
Trundle top connoisseur.
but even in the Shen into the Trundle, right? It's another really bad matchup. You're not supposed to win it, but if you just don't die, like look, Trundle did no damage. Like he did less than Lulu, but just the fact that he didn't int is his job that game because like you're Trundle, right? Like you're not supposed to hard win this game. So it's just I'm acknowledging a slightly underlooked um, aspect of the game, I guess, where I mean, top lane is just one of those lanes where if you're in a losing matchup, you just try to lose as elegantly as you can, and just pray that your team can carry. And when you have Crepe score on your team, I mean, it's just that easy. I mean, that's just insane. 3 mid bans. Was even did they ban another one in the second phase? Don't
Yeah,
quite
they banned
remember.
they banned
Yeah,
another
they
two.
did
They banned Victor
5
and
mid lane bans.
Cassidy.
Are you serious? Irelia, Vladimir, Vagar, Victor, Cassidon.
Yeah.
5 mid lane
5
bans
mid
from
lane bans, and he
Absolute
still pulls
Zero,
out the Corki and just
and
still
and
manages
creep
to.
score is still hard slams. Like what a legend! That is like that's goals right there. It's not every
Definitely,
day you get 4, 5 bans on one player.
definitely a very dominant performance from Crepe Score, and well, I'd say the Dingalings in general. I mean,
Yeah.
the goal difference over time graph, very similar, very similar. Look, obviously a bit in reverse because of the switch of sides as the previous game,
Mhm.
but just overall, Dingalings. You mentioned definitely that composition, though. Also in the second game, I'm still kind of hung up on Apple building collector or second item on Tristana.
I I think it's definitely a factor because Tristana with Phantom Dancer can just dish out so much damage
Yeah.
consistently that it kind of turns her from an assassin into a champion sort of like Jinx that can just sort of like auto attack people to death. But when
Yeah.
you go collector and you don't like it just doesn't give Tristana the value that she needs, especially in this fight, in this game. If the enemy team comp was different, then maybe you could get some value at collector. However, not quite so much. But I mean, at the end of the day, Dinglings they played well. They had the scaling. They scaled very very well. They stayed confident in their abilities. They didn't lose hope, I guess. And they just kept fighting even in the first game when they were really far down. They knew we have the vein. We know what they know what their win conditions are, and they play for them.
Yeah, and shoot, I had something in mind and it just dropped. Hello, brain? You haven't been working today very well. Oh, yeah, their records. So, and it's definitely a really good showing from the Dinglings after honestly not having the best first week ever on record. But they were kind of murdered by Virtue Gaming in their first matchup. So perhaps it's starting to come back together. We'll just have to see throughout the rest of these throughout the rest of the season. But with that, I do believe we will conclude the podcast for today. Tomorrow we have the seniors playing, I believe, at starting at the same exact time, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Absolutely, always a
We'll
pleasure to watch.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you there. And until then, I've been Sun Praising. Alongside me has been Wee Wizard at manning the camera once more. Wookie Monster, the absolute legend, has been
True.
at least I'd say about this guy's producing almost every single series for
Yeah.
Runeterra Academy. And yeah, until then, we're signing off.